Hello? Okay. Have you ever picked up your kid and they tell you something, or you see something that just doesn't look right, and when you go back, the answer that they give, it sounds a little bit funny, as if they don't want you to know something? Well, guess what? Today, I'm going to tell you what it actually is. So let's get to it. Welcome. My name is Omar John Ori II, and some people call me Omar, others call me Ori. Most people don't call me because I'm always somewhere and nowhere. But today, I'm going to give you a look behind the scenes of a childcare center. Now, you might be saying, yo, what does this, black dude know about childcare centers, and does he even have kids? And the answer to that is no, I don't have kids. But I've spent almost 30 years in childcare, and I can tell you I've seen it all across the country and around the world. And I'm going to give you 10 things that they won't or can't tell you today in this video. Now, I hear it all the time. My kid, they're an absolute angel. Oh, they're so awesome. And you know what? Your kid is probably really cool, but they're not as cool as you think. Guarantee it. I can't tell you how many times that I get a kid and mom's like, oh my God, they're so good at this, or they're so good at that. Oh, they're so smart and all that. And you want to know something? The kid's either just dumb as a brick, or flat out, they are just absolutely god awful, just completely disrespect and whatnot. And so I understand why it happens, because they're your kid. When they're at home, they know that, hey, that's the one who's going to feed me. That's the one who's going to buy me my toys. But when they go outside, it all breaks loose, and they just realize, hey, I can do and say whatever I want and act however I want. And quite frankly, regardless of it, your kid is not as good as you think. Every center has a ton of regulations, whether it's the laws they have to be in a certain ratio, they have to feed your kids a certain amount of food, or it has to be a certain temperature, or the fact that we even get, instructions from the parents as they don't want the kid to eat this and they don't want the kid to do that. And it's just really, really difficult. I mean, it is literally like herding kittens. And the simple of the matter is, a lot of times we just don't follow them at all. We don't follow the rules, and we don't follow your instructions, period. It's as easy as that. Just because a lot of the times it's on the spot. We're thinking within 2 seconds, we just got to react. Or sometimes there's just situations like when the kid doesn't want to eat. Well, all right, we're just going to we got to give the kid some food. Can't let him sit there starving. So mom, hey, you don't want him to have nuggets? Today he's getting some nuggets. And even within, the rules, I know there's a couple of times where, I was out of ratio. And quite frankly, it was because it was the end of the day. Parents haven't shown up yet, but staff got to go home. So I just had to take on more kids because I can control them. Sometimes we really sometimes it's not that we don't want to follow your rules. It's sometimes that we just can't. And most of the time it's that we don't want to. We all know that kids, they got blabbermouths. They can't hold a secret. They can't hold a secret at all. When they hear something, it has to get passed on. And a lot of times your kid tells us everything. Yes, I've had kids tell me way too much information. You know what I mean? Something like, yeah, my dad, he's got his gun underneath the table or underneath the bed. Or mom, yeah, my mom, she slapped my dad yesterday with a frying pan. I guarantee you, we have heard it all. It doesn't matter. Whatever your kid sees at home, it comes right back to us. Easiest way to put this is that just like how your kid goes home and tells everything that we do at the center, yes, your kid comes right back to school and tells us everything that you do at home. So the next time you and the missus, want to get a little freaky deaky, or you start getting in that fight, you might want to watch out what you say and where you say it. I get it. Parenting, it is not easy at all. I'm sure, quite frankly, you don't know where to go. You don't know what to do at times, and you just have to get all this frustration from this little one out. The thing is, though, is that when you go to your childcare center, guess what? The teacher does not want to hear about it. Quite frankly, we don't even want to know what is going on at home, quite frankly. So the next time you're sitting in front of your child, maybe your child is, just incredibly frustrating, or he's just tired that day, and you're just like, oh, he's sick, or he had a tummy ache last night. You don't need to tell us that, oh yeah, he threw up all over your floor and then he pooped all over you. We don't need to know all that. Just give us the kid and be on your merry way. To piggyback off of the last point, A lot of times, yes, that we do want to get to know your families. We do want to get to know your child and your situation, so we can best accommodate you. But quite frankly, we really don't want to talk to you a lot of the times. And some of the times it's that, you know what, personalities don't match. And if I just see a parent, that I really don't want to talk to just because I don't like the way they talk to me or whatever, I just want to stay away and don't want to talk to them. And other times, there are sometimes, where personalities don't clash, not only with the person, but the kid. I know I've picked up some kids where I really just I don't really like this kid. I don't like the way they act, whatever it is. And I literally just give me the kid so I can pass him on to his teacher or wherever, and I can just get away from you and him at the same time. And there are definitely some times where it's just awkward, especially for me. As a male, I see many women and moms and all that. And quite frankly, yes, there are some attractive women. I'm sure that with the female staff, there are attractive dads. And sometimes, yes, you get caught in that little awkward, like, I caught you looking. But the thing is, though, for me, I don't want to end up in jail, and I definitely don't want to lose my job. So I've seen it where there are times where, look, I know for this parent, I just need to say what I need to say and get out of there, because there's a little bit of tension that I just don't want and just don't need. So yes, a lot of times your child care worker, or not a lot, but there are just sometimes your child care worker, we just don't want to talk to you. As somebody who's single, but yet still a child caregiver, I've given advice to parents, and a lot of times what's the first question that they ask me? You got kids? No, I don't have kids. But here's the thing. Just because you have kids doesn't mean that you're a good parent. I've seen many parents that have like 3, 4, 5, 6 kids, and you want to know something? They're horrible. And I've seen parents that have 1 kid. They're horrible. I have no kids. And guess what? There are even times I'm horrible. Just because, like, the measure of how many children you have or how long you've had kids or whatever it is, it doesn't mean how good. There's one thing I've learned, it's just consistency. And I know that I have a lot of consistency, hence I know that I'm good with children. But ultimately, I don't care what it is. You can look at yourself and say, oh, I'm the best parent because my kid listens here or there. But quite frankly, no. Just because you got a kid doesn't mean you're a good parent, because parenting, it's not a science. There isn't one way to do it. There's many different ways, and everybody makes like mistakes. But the only real good judgment of how good of a parent you are is, when you hand your kid off to somebody else, if they're cool and you hear people a lot of compliments, then you're probably doing a good job. If you don't, well, no, because even then, when you hear some people be lying too. So there really is no, but just relax and realize that just because you got a kid doesn't mean you're good with kids and doesn't mean you're a good parent. With parenting, a lot of times, you know what? You just want to get away. You need a break. But that doesn't mean bring your kid to, your child care center at 6:50 when it's 7 o'clock. And it doesn't mean, I'll go get my kid, I'm a little bit late, like by 15-30 minutes or whatever. And they'll be okay. They're with their caregiver. Like, no, that's not okay. I get it that you need a break, but you know what? This is something that needs to be said. Most parents need to understand is that your kid doesn't need to be with us. A lot of times they need to be with you. It's been stated that most kids that spend excessive amount of time in their childcare away from their parent, they have a lot more behavior issues. And I can honestly vouch for it because I've seen it. Kids that, are 2, 3, even like a 12 months old that are spending, 10 excessive hours with their daycare, and like, it's just not a good look. Your kid at the age of 2 does not need to be seeing my face for 10 hours a day. That's more than they spend at home. Like, awake, of course, but that's ridiculous. And also, when you bring your kid, if your kid's got the sniffles, I get it. We have to work. We have to make money. But these kids need to stay home with you. That's how they're going to get better. Feeling comfortable in their own bed and relaxed around some people that they know, not at a daycare center, where it's like the bright lights, and they're not getting like the proper sleep because they have all these people around them and it's not as comfortable. So overall, your kid needs to be at home with you. Now granted, I do realize you got to go to work, but still, kids should be around their parents as much as possible. You know what I mean? And then you know what? You'll see a good kid in the long run. One of the biggest pet peeves that I have with being a child caregiver is that I am in the service industry. But guess what? I am not a servant. All of us, I can guarantee you, any child care worker watching this would love to tell every parent, just because you pay, and if you pay a lot of money, doesn't mean you get to treat us like we're your servants. We're not your personal babysitters. We're not your personal butlers or personal maids. We are your child caregivers. We are with your kids for 14, sometimes, well, not 14, but there are times where I've seen it. There are daycare centers that do have kids for 14 hours. We're with your kids a large portion of the time, and we are shaping these little kids to help you. But that doesn't mean you just get to pop off and say what you want whenever. I mean, I get it. It's frustrating when your kid comes home with a dirty diaper, or they got a nick and you never found out about it. Cool, no problems, I get it. But that still doesn't mean that you get to blatantly disrespect us. Because think about it. Imagine if I was sitting here telling you exactly this same thing to your face, right? About, yo, you're a bad parent because every time you bring him, this kid's in dirty clothes, or he kind of smells like pee. How would you feel? It's the same thing. So with that, a lot of us ask is that you just treat us with respect and just treat us like a person rather than a servant. One of the things that you will never hear about, and I know this for a fact, right, is that the real chaos in every child center, it might be sometimes your kids, but most of the time it is the staff. And I can't tell you how the staff act, not all the time, but yes, the chaos is among the staff. From the drama to the little bickering to just the back talking and whatever. But it even goes worse. Call offs, just doing, people thinking they can do whatever they want. I loved being a manager. I will always enjoy the team that I had. They were the best team I've ever had and worked with. They were awesome, but honestly, staffing is a nightmare at times, especially as a manager, because a lot of it fell back on me. You know what I mean? If something went wrong, I had to fix it. But again, I don't care if you pay 20 grand for, your daycare center. Trust me, if you were a manager and you went in there, you would hear tons of bickering. You might not see it, but I guarantee you'd see it after a while. And trust me, with call offs and all that, it's just ridiculous. So just remember, the next time, if everything, when you walk in your daycare center and it looks all cool, okay, cool. But I guarantee you, just stick around. Stay for about 15 to 20 minutes, right? But just stay somewhere in the cut and stay off to the side, and you'll get a glimpse of the little chaos in it. Last but not least is that, yes, we are helping you shape your child's life. One of the biggest things that we as child caregivers would definitely love to tell parents is that, you know what, we have lives too. You know what I mean? We have girlfriends, fiancés, wives, kids, family, brothers, uncles. We have a world outside of this. So when a parent is standing there constantly just complaining, whining, crying about something, or they're bringing their kid 10 minutes early, knocking on the door, yo, can I drop them off real quick? Yo, I gotta go. Or you're coming 15, 20, 30 minutes late, looking at us as if well, it's okay. Hey, I'm sorry, I won't be late, but you consistently do it over time. You're not realizing those hours that we set, they're specifically there for a reason, so that we can go home and we can enjoy our lives. I understand it. Parenting, like I said throughout this entire video, it is not easy. And honestly, I can't imagine what some people, their lives are like when they have, 4, 5, 6 kids. It's got to be rough. But we also want you to know that, hey, we have lives too. There's some, we want to go out after work and we want to maybe go get a drink, with our friends. Or maybe, hey, we want to go have that nice little date night or something or we might just simply want to go home and relax. So just remember that when you're kind of going at your caregiver, or when you're late, or just whatever it is, that, hey, we're people too, just like you. With that being said, there goes 10 things that you probably won't or never heard before from a child caregiver that I'm gonna tell you. So if you like this video, please, just smack a like or do whatever you like. But more importantly, if you just like hearing from me, go ahead on down into my channel and have a few more look at my videos. And with that being said, thanks for sticking around, and see you later.